Is it up, running? Is it still running? You sure? I'm not looking at it. Okay. Is Lee sent anything? I mean, Kelly sent anything?
She said she did.
That's what she said yesterday.
Before we went live yesterday. She said, you might want to delete that section. I said, oh, you didn't say
Okay. Do-do-do-do-do. What? Headphones? Hello there. Can y'all hear me? Nope, can't hear me yet. I got a bat though. You can't read them, right? Uh-huh. It's now 7 o'clock. 2 mics are going hot. Well. Today's Tuesday. Work week. That's got daylight savings time. Here at 7 o'clock. You are late.
No, you're wrong, Rayford. Tuesday, one day closer to Friday.
Oh, okay. So I don't know. What is the worst day of the week for you?
Worst day of the week?
Uh-huh.
I don't really think I have a worst day.
Sure you do. Everybody has a day of the week they don't like. I don't like Fridays.
Fridays.
No, because that's the closest work day to the next Monday, and Monday is the worst day of the week. Think about that.
And you wanted to say something
That's
to
my
me
logic.
about me saying Tuesday is one day closer to Friday. You're just as bad.
That's one day further from the last Friday.
How many
my
days
goodness
to
gracious.
Christmas, Rayford?
A bunch. I haven't looked it up this morning.
Let's
And
get
in case y'all
everybody
didn't know, I'm
stressed
stalling
out.
here. Kelly's cleaning the floor and she's picking up the belongings. And
Get out of our neighborhood.
The traffic's
stuck.
crazy
I don't
this
know.
morning.
You should
I
have
don't know
stayed
where
on the.
this traffic
You
is
should have
coming
stayed
from.
on the pavement, not on the people's yards. You
I
got
was trying
stuck
to
in your yards.
turn right.
I understand because I was experiencing craziness with the traffic.
I didn't have any trouble with traffic this
Well,
morning.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Isn't that sweet?
Your only traffic is changing out of your pajamas.
And fighting a cat and a black panther and a dog.
Right.
Well, the cat doesn't even move around at that time of morning. One of the dogs gets up when I go back up there at 7:15, 6:15. So, because he knows the food is coming for him. So
Well, I know which one that is.
I go back and then he waits there and he wags that tail back and forth. And, I think that if he turned around, he'd slap somebody and he would hit him pretty hard. That's why the cat doesn't get up.
I have an extra dog for a couple days, and so I try to get up earlier to try to coax them all outside.
You
And
didn't put your headphones on.
things didn't work this morning.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord.
Things didn't work this morning because it was drizzling outside.
Oh,
It's
poor
still
baby.
kind of drizzling, but not rough.
Yeah, there's all sorts of defenses when you go to court. You hear people, right?
Yes.
So back in the 1940s, there was a defense that this one singer used when she wrote a song.
Okay.
And the name of the song was I Didn't Know the Gun Was Loaded.
I like that title already.
We've heard that song, we've heard that kind of a defense on a lot of cases. I'm sorry, I didn't think the gun was loaded. Well, that's the reason you should always keep your guns loaded.
It's kind of like
See, that's my
yesterday's.
philosophy. I tell everybody, every gun in this house is loaded. So don't pick it up. You know how well that works? A lot.
It
Whether
does
the
work
gun
well,
is
yeah.
loaded or not,
Mhm.
as far as they're concerned, it's loaded. That's the best way to do it. Anyway, Patsy, her last name that she used, Montana. Patsy Montana. It's going to be cute.
Never heard of her.
Oh, Miss Effie was her name. Through the West she won her fame, being handy with a gun. But she drove the men insane, 'cause she'd whip out her pistol and shoot most any guy, then sing out this alibi. I didn't know the gun was loaded, and I'm so sorry, my friend. I didn't know the gun was loaded, and I'll never, never do it again.
Until next time, anyway.
Complete with sound effects.
I was cool.
When the gun went off, Kelly
19
jumped.
49, I think that was. But
Was it a hit?
I wasn't around. Yes, I was, but I don't remember listening to the radio, so I don't know.
I've never heard of that. song.
Anyway, I hadn't either. But I heard of it over the weekend because I found my buddy.
Mhm.
Oh, you weren't listening yesterday?
Mm-mm.
Oh, he's a comedian. Red Skelton is his name.
Oh, I know.
And on
That's
his third episode ever on
Mhm.
TV, I've got the whole thing. I see him now on one of the channels that I've got.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness gracious. They're stupidly
They are.
slapstickily funny.
And they're
corny, but
hilarious.
funny.
I watched him
Corny.
as a kid. I know
well,
exactly who he is.
You didn't watch these because it was in 1951 and 1952. I think the third episode was in 52. And had become a weekly. And they had three of their singers, female singers, and they were appearing in court.
Mhm.
And that was the stage, and that's the song that
That's
they
the
were
song
singing.
they play.
So
Okay.
I had to go look it up and do a little research because it's
I
just
never
cute.
heard of it.
I
I
thought
hadn't
about you last night, though, Rayford, because
I know.
when I was going through Facebook Reels, because I like to watch them occasionally, a lot, tell the
Aw.
truth, and I ran across one from the Carol Burnett show, and she is just so
She's
funny.
hilarious.
She was earning her husband's shirt and listening to a radio talk show where people
Uh-oh.
call in, and it was actually her neighbor talking about the affair she was having with Carol's husband.
Oh,
And in
no.
the end, you know, she knew the husband was coming back in to get a candle, and she replaced it with a stick of dynamite. And you can see what happened after that. That it was hilarious. And I thought about you because watching those
Yeah.
red skeleton shows.
Mhm. Yeah, Skelton was hilarious. I liked it. And he's just a total slapstick all the way through.
Yes.
But it was so cool, and he pulled it off. Not everybody can pull off slapstick.
right.
Okay, some sad news again. Another medical helicopter
Unreal.
crashed in Mississippi yesterday, killing a pilot and two hospital workers on board. The helicopter returning to Columbus from a patient transport crashed in Madison County about 12:30 in the afternoon, killed everyone on board. Oh, how many of these are going on that we didn't hear about or didn't pay any attention to it in the past?
That's what it is.
They said this was the first crash in the 29 years that the Air Care Emergency Services has been operational, according to a statement from the university there. The school did not offer a reason for the crash, but said that the FAA and other authorities are investigating. Well, we know that. The families of the three victims were notified. Authorities have not released the names, not as yet. They're protecting their privacy, they said. It should serve as a reminder of the dangers that medical first responders on a regular basis every day. I mean, you're running for. Think about driving a fire truck. Have you ever ridden on one on a call for any reason, ride-alongs or anything? I
No.
have.
Mm-mm.
People don't understand what red lights are, for one thing. Motorists, they don't believe it. Second, they don't understand that truck, which weighs about a million pounds, when it's running 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, it looks like it's running 90. You know that, right?
Oh, I've seen them.
Everybody says that truck is just flying. Yes.
Well, I've seen them come down my road. Ooh.
Yeah, but they're running
Yeah.
about 45 or 50. Very seldom are they breaking any
Right.
speed
No,
limits.
I've never seen one do that.
And then, but have you ever thought about? Well, he ain't running that fast. I get ahead of him, and they pull out in front of you. Really? At a red light, when you come up on a traffic light situation and your light turns green, you need to really look to your left and to your right, because those guys can legally run traffic lights, can run a red
Yes.
light. They are required to slow down and get prepared to avoid things that occur.
Right.
But when you're stupid and pull out directly in front of them without looking, I don't worry so much about the fire trucks coming through that light. I worry about all the other idiots on the road that are coming through that light red.
And Rayford, I pulled up behind a car country club in Western one morning last week when I left here. His music was so
Oh,
loud.
God.
Everything in my truck was vibrating.
I would beg the Jacksonville City Council, probably the North Topsail Beach Council, any place that's got people driving and there are lots of traffic lights or whatever,
Right.
go down and adopt the ordinance that the town of Curie Beach had back in the day. I don't know whether it's been challenged or whether somebody decided to get rid of it when some of the imports came to town and decided to take over from up north. They came to Curie Beach and other
Imports.
places down south to get away from the crap up north, and they tried to make here like it was up north before they left. Well, I don't get it. Anyway, the ordinance of Curie Beach, you will not have any sounds coming from your car that I can hear sitting in my car beside yours.
Well, my whole point is that how is that person going to hear a fire truck
They
coming?
won't.
Yeah, that's just it.
And they won't look. There are people that are sitting at a traffic light and they're in another world, either talking or they got their headphones on doing something else. They got the radio blasted away. They're just jiving with the music, right?
Right.
And then the light turns green and they take off. And they
And
generally
somebody
take
else
off
is late.
wide open.
Mhm.
And then, whoops, somebody else just crashed that light. So they just ran into me. Well, it's their fault, but I'm dead.
Yeah, we've talked about the light at Western
Yeah.
and 17.
Oh, yeah, that
And-
one's bad.
You know, you have two left lanes that turn left at the same time. The two lanes across from you turn left onto 17. Yesterday, it was a couple
They
days
did it
ago.
again.
There was a guy in a pickup truck next to me, and we were in the two left lanes.
You were
And
in
when the light-
you were in the inner lane. He was in the outer lane, guarantee it, and he crossed over into your lane.
No.
Oh,
What
didn't-
happened is when the light turned green for those traveling straight on Western
Oh,
Boulevard,
he took off.
he caught the edge of it and figured it was his light and made his left turn
Wow.
with oncoming traffic.
How'd that work
and I'm
out for
just
him?
like, well, he managed to get through there okay, but I
Well,
was
everybody
like,
was looking out for him then.
shoo-wee.
What a mess. What a
Yes.
dumb thing. The helicopter, the medical helicopter that went down, 2 weeks ago?
Yes, in Hampstead, Pender County.
Pender County area, returning to Onslow County to the airport here in Jacksonville, Richland still. Somebody's going to call and correct me. But
Onslow
anyway,
County.
yeah, to the Albert J. L. Airport. How's that?
Mhm.
Look it up if
Very
you don't know where it
good.
is. And then they were returning from a call that I guess they'd been to New Hanover Memorial, or Regional Center, whatever they call it now. And then they had a problem and they went down. There were three medical people, including the pilot on board. He's an EMT pilot. And it went down. Don't know why yet. That's still under investigation. The 911 calls been released. They've been picked up, and this was a Novant Health Airlink helicopter. The caller says he's an EMT pilot. He crashed, and he's having a hard time people finding him. I have his location. Oh my God. There is fire. Either the same caller or another caller. I don't know if it's from him or they're burning. Be specific of what you're talking about when you call, please. And he has the EMT crew with him as well. He says he needs to go to the hospital. He says he needs to go to the hospital. Right. So that's part of the 911 calls that were released from the February 24th crash. So, they're all okay in
Right.
that one. Everybody on the Mississippi one's dead.
Good. Yes.
But I remember reading, not paying a whole lot of attention to over the years, as the number of medical choppers going in they're just crashing. Now there are more because there are more helicopters up there.
Well, we're
It would stand to
hearing
reason.
more. In the past, it's just like,
Well, it was there, but we didn't pay attention to it.
No.
It was page 14A if it got 14B if it got this far. If it was a California crash or something out there, we did not pay that much attention to it. They're all over the place now, and
Yes.
and y'all wonder why I don't particularly want to get up in a helicopter.
I've already
any
planned it for
reason.
you. I need to talk to Kelly about it.
Yeah, y'all keep a full tank of gas, would you? Because I may need you to drive me to wherever I want you to go. Drive
I
me.
told you, Kelly gets you fast. They're faster than the helicopter.
You need to
would.
keep all four wheels on the ground.
I can do
That's
that. I watched enough Dukes of Hazzard to know how
Oh,
to
good
do that.
God.
so
You're training?
Don't you
Jesus
worry.
Christ.
That's my training video.
I'll be your wingman.
Hey,
I'll
Bill,
just
how you
go
doing
like,
this
red
morning?
light.
I like how she brought up Dukes of Hazzard. Boss hog rules. Hey, have you guys been
great.
following the legacy media, the liberal media, with regards to their hatred towards Elon Musk?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's getting to be funny. He's got
They're having to put cops at his dealerships now.
security at his dealerships.
It's crazy.
Good God. That's funny. Stupid.
You know, I think someone needs. There was a link somewhere on Twitter, or X, where they showed some random white man out in front of a Tesla dealership, and he basically said, "Yes, I'm being paid to protest." You know what? I think someone needs to do a deep dive into these individuals that are protesting. I mean, who are these people? Who are these random angry white people that are showing up at these dealerships? Are they getting paid?
Yes.
Listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Is George Soros? Is there some sort of like left-wing group, giving these guys, $30, $40, $50 an hour just to show up there? Because when they confront them and they ask them why they're there, none of them can clearly articulate. They can't put into words.
Here's the problem.
Why they are there.
You're right. And in so many protests that we've seen over the years, and you finally get down to it, somebody on these protest picket lines, they get up there, and sooner or later they get all up flustered when some media person sticks a microphone. What are you doing here? Oh, well, they paid me to be here. Oh, really? Who's they? I don't know, but there's a fund out there apparently that they just pay people to come out and protest. Mm-hmm. Yes, there is a fund, and if they did the deep dive, Charlie, I'm with you. There's someone, or some organization, and maybe more than one, that's at the root of this mess.
Yeah, but who has the time? I'm not sure. Okay, let's say you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and there's a Tesla dealership. Who in Tulsa, Oklahoma says to themselves, I'm just so really angry at what Elon Musk is going to the government. I'm just going to show up at Tesla. I just don't think it's there. I think it's an organized effort. Mm-hmm. Somebody's paying these people, and here's the beauty about it. If the media knew, they're never going to admit it.
Of course
the
not.
Top story would be breaking news.
You ruined a good story.
Are being paid. No, they're manipulating the market. I guess Tesla shares are down. Like, I don't know how much they're down. It's really just sad. It's really just. I get a kick out of Donald. Let me say it very respectfully. President Donald Trump. I like when he takes a question from the press, and then he goes, "Who are you with? what news?"
I love
it.
And
they say, "I'm with NBC." They go, "I'm with NBC," and he goes, "Okay, good. You're the fake media." It's really sad. They're so biased. It's disturbing what they're doing. But I love the fact Elon Musk. I guess he did an interview the other day. He's talking about he's gotten these death threats. Listen. This guy, hold on. I'm going to switch gears. Kash Patel, FBI director. I read something online that he does not trust the FBI, and he has requested private security to protect him. Did you guys see that?
No, I did not see that.
I did not.
He's revamping the FBI. He does not like the way what the FBI has become, and most of that he will tell you is at the top. It's at the bureaucratic top level. The appointees, those who have worked for so long, and they have finally kissed enough backsides for politicians to be appointed.
No, you got to research it. No,
I see it.
I think it's true. He requested private security other than the FBI because he does not trust the people in the FBI to protect him. And there was a couple news stories on that. I read it online. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
You're the director. You're the senior lead person of the FBI, and you're scared of the people that you're in charge of. Mm-hmm. It's going to be bizarre what's going to happen. You know what? I'm not an economist. It seems like we may go into a recession, but I think in the long run, maybe that's a good thing, because I think if the other party would have been in control, they would have destroyed our economy. Like I said, I'm not an economist. I don't know how dollars and cents work.
Neither do I.
Really disturbing. Yeah. Anyway, hey guys, listen. You guys have a good day.
Okay, you
but
too.
research Cash Patel. He literally
Yeah,
wants
I was reading some stuff about him last night. I did not see that. I will check in and see check the verifiable sources and see how true that is.
Yeah,
Okay.
the one story I found
Thank you,
is
Charlie.
on MSN, and it's
Uh-huh.
written by a news organization that I have no clue who they
Okay,
are.
there's one.
Right.
So I will verify and look for verifiable sources and see if I can find something on it. So anyway, what else is going? Oh yeah, we got to put out some stuff here this morning. If you happen to be taking or going over to Richlands, so the locals pronounce it, y'all. It's not Richlands, it's Richlands. You may notice an increased presence in Onslow Sheriff's deputies at several schools there this morning. It is not a drill. The sheriff's office responded to reports from one student at the Trexler Middle School in Richlands late Monday afternoon. Working to identify the student, they found him, went to his address to make sure all was okay, and decided, based on the follow-up investigation, of which we don't have a lot of details about yet, to assign additional deputies at a number of the county's schools, especially in the Richlands area. The sheriff's office received several calls from area residents expressing concern yesterday over the situation, prompting the additional security. The investigation is ongoing, and more information will be coming. First, from me, parents, your kids are not going to listen to anyone else. They're not going to listen to me. They're not going to listen to the sheriff's office. They're not going to listen to anyone. They may not listen to you. You probably best, but you have more legal control and you have more possibility and power over your kids than law enforcement or anybody else, as long as you don't beat them to death. The days of fights on the playground, fights over a girl when you're in high school, those days when boys would throw a punch or two and both guys would leave as friends, they're over. Doesn't happen that way anymore. Threats are uttered. Threats that teachers and law enforcement take seriously these days. Those threats can send a kid, your child, to jail. Parents and grandparents need to make absolutely sure their kids are more responsible than the old days. Those days are gone. We got away with things. We had pocket knives we went to school with, because you know what we did on the playground, outside, on the dirt? You ever heard of bumbly peg?
No.
You open your pocket knife up and you stand there and you got the other guy standing over there across from you. He's got his feet spread as far as he can apart, and you throw the knife into the ground in front of him.
Yeah.
You do this in school on the playground. Nobody got hurt that I know of. If they did, it wasn't bad. But that was the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Today, you go to prison. You got a weapon of mass destruction, number one,
Yeah.
and that could be assault.
Mm-hmm.
Assault with the possibility that you'll hurt somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure your children know you can't do what you and I did way back when. Jail time over a fight that becomes a threat, like this one, to the safety of other students is not a joke anymore. Something that once was just a thing can haunt your child for the rest of his life.
Words matter.
Words matter.
Mhm.
What you do matters. You make a threat about doing something bad at school tomorrow because you got in a fight today. Guess what? The man's going to come a-calling at your house. Parents, guess who's going to be responsible for that when that child is under 18? That's you. You are now responsible for everything your child does until he or she is 18 years of age.
It's very true.
At one time, you had all that responsibility until they were 16. You had no control over them at 18 and 18, but they could be treated as adults at 16. Did you know that people were running away from North Carolina at age 16, and you couldn't go get them unless they crossed the state line into another state where they were still a juvenile? Did you know that? Then you could bring them back to the state line if they're in your custody. You could bring them all the way home, but then they're going to run away again.
Yes, that's Chris Marks calling.
Okay, Chris, how many pocket knives did you carry to school at one time?
I just won.
Okay.
And we did play those mumbly play games, and throw it off your elbow into the grass so you could
Oh,
see
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
But you remember back in the day when we went to school, we didn't have SROs because we didn't need them.
Nope. We had our football coach is what we had, who was a PE teacher, and he had a board of education at his disposal.
I had Louis Soul. I'm still have nightmares.
I remember when Mr. Sewell was at Northwoods
Yes.
Junior High and Coach Wigmore. Those two of them right there would scare enough out of the boys. You pretty much towed the line, but unfortunately now as time progressed, it's gotten to this point. But that's why we have the SROs. That's why we have Crime Stoppers.
Yes, right.
These students, middle school, elementary school, high school, they're all doing the right thing by talking to the SROs. And, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about real quick is our SROs. They do such a fabulous job.
Yeah.
One of the best SROs is out of Dixon High School, Jonathan Diaz. The kids love him.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go to him. He's an intimidating man if you look at him, but he's a teddy bear.
But he's earned their trust. That's good.
Oh my gosh, there you go. He's earned their, and mostly I'd say all the SROs have the trust of the students
Mm-hmm.
to the point where more and more are feeling comfortable going to them.
Well,
But these threats that are being done aren't being done. Probably, this is my guess. It's not being done during school time. It's doing afterwards.
not sure about this one. This one may have started during school, but so anyway, it escalated.
Yeah, and go back to our days. People we say our days. It wasn't that long ago where you had your rifle in the back of your truck.
Well, I had a shotgun, but that's right.
Shotgun, rifle, and you went hunting and
Mhm.
and everything was fine. But you took your fights, you took your disagreements to the senior fountain. You took it outside. You hit each other. You wrestled a little bit, and then you got. Everybody was going like, "Hey, nice fight. Okay, let's get back to class."
That's right, Chris.
But,
Back then, we just dumped them in the fountain.
Yeah, head first. If they were
Yeah.
if they were an underclassman, they went head first into that fountain.
And they had to go put concrete in there. Darn it.
Yeah, no, gosh, what a waste
Yeah.
that was.
Oh,
It's beautiful
We gotta
senior
change
fountain in Jacksonville. But one of the things you opened up with was the noise ordinance. Jacksonville actually has one not only that deals with the music between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. There's an ordinance.
cars
where-
being worked on after midnight or after
Loud
11 o'clock
cars.
or whatever.
Yeah, but it's 70 decibels.
Mhm.
Right for you and I've been in the radio.
It ain't that
long enough
much.
to know it's 70. It is not that much. And I find myself too, I'm sitting there, I'm listening to music, our type of music, or my type of music anyway, oldies and things. And then you come up to this one and they go boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, rattles
Yeah, you gotta roll.
your car.
Yeah, you got to roll your window up.
Mhm.
I mean, I just don't.
Sure.
And then next to them is maybe one of a law enforcement cruiser, but they got more important things to do. But they're on the books. The loud muffler pipes. Those are the ones that really get me.
Well, those bug me.
Yeah.
Not because
bug
not because there's a law against it, but because it's an inadequate law. It's an unequal. It's got some issues with it as far as I'm concerned. Let's just take, for instance, we take a car with loud pipes. That's what they used to call them. They had, one time they had, what was it? Glass packs. They could buy
Yes,
mufflers and put on there. It just made them sound cooler.
Right.
They didn't violate the noise ordinance, but some people, particularly a lot of police officers, said, you got glass backs on here. That ought to be illegal, so I'm going to write you a ticket. Anyway, but move to now. Car pulls up beside you, and he's got loud pipes, really loud pipes, takes off like a bat out of you-know-where, makes lots of noise, and then a motorcycle passes you and is louder than the car that just took off, and he's just running straight pipes, regular pipes. Factory stuff.
When Kathy and I rode bikes,
Mhm.
our pipes were not extremely loud.
You
And
were-
I understand
you got street
motorcycle
ready,
riders
right?
Yeah.
Street
Yeah, I mean,
legal.
it's the standard, but I understand some want to do it to make the drivers aware that they're there.
Oh, baloney.
They see you next to you. they know they know you're there, but
Toot your horn.
I think more than like my guess is that if law enforcement started doing that, there's going to be people that are going to complain that that's all they have time to do is write tickets for noise.
Pretty much.
They have other things to do, but it does affect when the emergency vehicles are coming through.
It does.
You can't hear them,
That's right.
and so people got to respect that. I want to thank you too again for buying your tickets yesterday. You bought the first 4 tickets.
Yay!
For our Crime Stopper.
I got a question for that. Now those tickets
right.
are beginning the 1st of April or whatever the first date is through the entire month of April for Crime Stoppers. I bought 2 tickets. You bought 2 tickets?
Yes.
Lee bought 2 tickets.
Yeah.
And we get to go to Smithville, either one of the locations in Jacksonville, and we get to have our choice of either dead pig or chicken. And then we get to choose the
just
sides that go
ruin
with
it
it,
for
right?
me.
No.
What?
You get the choice of either dead pig or ruined chicken.
Yard bird or dead pig, your choice.
Okay, your choice.
That's what it
your
is.
first
It's gonna make
side
people not
item.
want to buy a single ticket.
Oh, they'll buy plenty of tickets because I eat dead pig. You eat dead pig.
I don't eat.
You don't
I
dead pig.
was
You eat
looking
chicken.
forward
I do
to
eat
the
chicken.
barbecue,
Yard bird.
but now that you're talking about dead pig,
Well, you can eat the chicken. The pigs will love you. So will the cows. But anywho, you
eat more
get
chicken.
you get to go pick that, and you get to pick out your side. Now, here's my question for you. We ain't into April yet. Could we go by there and maybe so we could get an advance? Maybe just ask them for a little sampling, like one of those tiny little cups of some barbecue and a little piece of chicken here and there, and maybe some of those sides, so we'll know which ones to pick when we go.
I need a nap already.
I tell you what, like the donuts yesterday.
Oh, no.
Maybe I'll bring you a sampler. How's that?
Those were good.
Say we could just pick what we would like to have and be ready to go when we get there, instead of standing
Yeah,
around
right.
like so many people do. Oh, I would like to. Well, you haven't been here before. You don't know what they got.
Well, and the biggest thing in Rayford, you mentioned yesterday, there's no tax. You
That's
have that $10 ticket, and that's it.
That's it. You don't
Now,
have
if
to
you
pay
order
for
a
it.
drink, you pay
Uh-huh.
for the drink.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder, Rayford, if banana pudding would count as a side.
Okay, Lee. Okay.
I don't
No.
think so. That's called
It is a
these.
side, though.
Well, yeah.
It's a side.
They
But
make
that's not
some
one of the
good
listed
pudding.
sides. The listed sides are going to be those that are
Why
listed as
not?
sides.
Let's put it on the list.
I agree.
Oh God.
I agree with that.
All right, Kelly,
Yes.
I want you to try that one. Let us know how it turns out. Because you're right, it is a side.
Okay.
Dessert is a side, but it's not one of the listed ones, I don't believe.
Yeah.
I'll
We
try.
got a caller here. We got to run.
Yeah, Chris.
Okay, thanks,
Thanks.
y'all.
Thank you.
Have a
Take-
good day.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Chris. We do appreciate it. Dr. Greg Murphy, how are you, sir?
Darn it.
I am well. I hope you guys are.
Well, we're doing fine. I was told yesterday that you wouldn't be calling today.
Well, we've had a little bit of a snafu. We began baseball practice this morning at
Uh-oh.
5:45, and
Oh.
I'm making my triumphant return from the injured
Yay.
reserve, and so I'm waiting actually for a ride where I have to go speak at a medical conference. But I thought I would call and see how you guys were doing.
We're doing fine.
Yeah.
You know, the weather's looking a little less worse than it was, so we're anxiously awaiting spring.
Now, Congressman,
Indeed.
I
So
listen.
it was a nice 38 degrees this morning at baseball practice, and so we're all a bunch of old men that are fussing and fussing about it. But it's good camaraderie and everything.
Yeah,
so.
you're not old, but you got a long ways to go before you get old. Kevlar or any body armor.
Well, I tell you, there are police all around the baseball field. Sadly enough, because of the tragedy that happened with Steve Scalise, play at second base.
Oh.
But no, the police come out there, full hour before, do a sweep, and Yeah, it's the world we live in, sadly enough. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this world we live in, it's it's getting kind of crazier and crazier every day. And we've already had a call this morning. Does everybody in the country actually hate Elon Musk, or is this just a select few that are paid by Democrats to express their opinions?
well, I think a little bit of both. We had a telephone town hall last night where we reached thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't like the way he's doing things, and I can understand that. It is a little bit, he's used to going into and restructuring a company, but doing it somewhat with brute force. But you just can't do that. And I think with every day he's learning a little bit more. Speaker Johnson has said that he has been working on counseling him on how to do government affairs and things. But and I reiterated this multiple times. On the telephone town hall last night, is that our nation is in dire condition. And
Yes.
looking up at the beautiful sunshine and people driving their cars and everything, you would never, ever know it. But if we don't get this economy fixed and this overspending taken care of, we will be in financial peril in the next 1 to 3 years. And that's not a hyperbole or anything. And so, thank God we have a president that's willing to do this, because the last several presidents, including Republicans, have not been willing to tackle this problem.
Yeah, they've been kind of worthless, to be honest with you. The one of the big key issues, and I understand that Lee was on your call last night listening. She almost got up to bat, but she was still a few down to where she could ask. But
We had a really good response. It was great. I enjoyed doing this.
that's what she said. But one of the big topics these days is the big fears. Let's put it that way. The threat to people like me, who I depend upon this thing called Social Security. And I'm not alone in this country. A lot of people depend upon Social Security when they hit 65 or so. Some of us paid into it most of our lives since I was like 16, I think. But good gracious, they're going to take it away? Are you guys going to take it away from me?
Nobody's taking it away. We might take it away from you, Ray.
Yeah, probably.
Nobody else. No. And I explained this to a lady last evening, and I talked about the history of the program. We had a good committee meeting on this last week, starting in 1935, and talking about how it has ebbed and flowed as far as its capacity and as far as its finances. The problem is now, and this has been the same thing for the last 15 years, is we have a fertility problem in the United States.
Really?
And for people who paid into the system, the benefits they get out now are a lot more, because they're living longer, and the number system, the math, oftentimes doesn't work. I'll give you an example. For Medicare, Medicare started in 1965, where the average life expectancy at that point in time was 70. Well, Social Security started in 1935, and they set the date at 65. But life expectancy at that time for men was only 53, so they didn't ever expect men to ever get it. And so now, where we just have about half the number of young individuals paying into the system that we did, just 30, 40 years ago. And so it's a math problem. Social Security is expected to become, I don't want to say insolvent, but that's for lack of a better word, in about 9 years, because the Social Security Trust Fund is going to run out of money. Now, will that mean everybody's benefits go to zero? No. But there either will have to be a congressional action, either appropriation, or it will be a decrease in benefits. So it's not anybody taking anything away.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that simply the money is running out because we don't have enough young people putting money into the system. And that's the way it has always worked. So that's just the stark reality. We always urge people, if at all possible, to save for retirement. I know in some folks that's very, very difficult. But just on Social Security sometimes is very, very challenging, especially with prices these days.
Sure. So some of us are outliving our usefulness, in other words. I think is what it amounts to.
I wouldn't say that.
I guess one of the comments last night dealt with the federal office building, where there is a bunch of, it costs a lot of money, like $1 million or something. And they got 8 house plants in that empty building. Is there?
This is what it is, just story after story after story. You see, nobody's ever looked at this stuff. Nobody's even looked at the treasury and the checks. The fact that we don't know, we have no accounting system there. It is unconscionable where the checks are going. But some of the many things that Doge has found, the one building, taxpayers are paying $1 million a year
Jesus.
to a company to water 8 houseplants.
Mhm.
Say what?
Houseplants. I'd be happy to do that for $250,000. I think.
I could drive back and forth once a week for that kind of money. I mean, they've got Lear jets, but
This is the kind of nonsense that we're finding, and people. I think a lot of folks are getting a little ahead of the skis sometimes because they just don't like Musk so much and some of the way he's doing things, which I cannot disagree with. I think the whole chainsaw thing was a disaster.
Yeah.
I think that'll come back to haunt us. There's certain pictures and moments that just not needed, but these are the kind of things that I think are common sense that I hope everybody can agree upon. We did a little survey last night and asked people if they were happy about finding the fraud and abuse by Doge, and 26% said no. So I have to think it's just the manner in which he's doing it, because if anybody still wants us to have fraud, waste, and abuse, I think we need to kind of have a reset there.
Yeah, they might want to change their political affiliation if that's what they really want. I didn't say that, did I? We've got these also this fear, and we've had it since before Trump was elected in November. He's going to put tariffs on Canadian products, and Chinese products, and Mexican products. We're going to tax them so much that these people are now going to turn around and charge us that much more money for them.
Well, one thing I think folks don't realize, which I wouldn't realize having not been in this government, is we're already paying huge tariffs to these countries already. India, we have been paying tariffs of 25% for a long time. China has done everything it can to prevent us from coming and having American businesses, sell our products in China. The same thing with many other countries. And so this isn't something that's just out of the blue. This is something that the president is doing in a retaliatory manner. Now, Mexico, yes, he's trying to do this to stop the fentanyl, stop the drug trafficking, stop the migration kind of crisis that Biden's created. And so, no, I mean, I think we'll get to a good place. It's painful at start.
Okay.
I met with the secretary, or I didn't meet. Ways and Means, we had a very, very long meeting yesterday. With Secretary of the Treasury, and talked about this a little bit, and he was okay with them. He really was, and this is a smart dude. A lot smarter than the last Secretary of Treasury.
Well, if we can figure out a way to save even a 50% of the 100,000 plus Americans who are dying from fentanyl overdoses every year. And please keep in mind that there were 58,000 Americans killed over a period of, I think it was 13 or 14 years from 1959-ish, when we actually sent people over to Vietnam until we got out of there in 1975. So during that period of time, we lost 58,000 Americans. In 1 year, we lose double that. I'm sorry. Excuse me? Do what?
Tragic. I've known 9 young men, who sadly passed away from fentanyl overdoses.
Wow.
All of them accidental. Obviously, nobody plans to overdose. But these are things that just need to be faced, and I'm glad that the president's doing it.
Well, and that which comes to mind my understanding here is so many people are saying it's cruel and unusual to stick up somebody with some needles, 4 needles, and make them go away who richly deserve to go away, because we're tired of their antics in this country. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to execute them anymore because it's cruel and unusual punishment, and sometimes that stuff doesn't work as well as it should. So why not just one good overdose of fentanyl? Every time it works.
That's pretty true. Did you see a guy the other day elected to be executed by firing?
$1 a bullet, 6 rounds, not a big deal.
Yeah. Anyway, so Well, guys, I hate to run.
I know you got work to do.
Run,
Thank you, sir.
Got to go speak at a thing, and thank you all for what you do, and God bless our country. God bless the president.
Okay, now I'm looking for a big score for the Republicans and as opposed to the Democrats in that ball game. Okay, I think 8-1.
Last summer, we pretty much clobbered them. I was just recuperating from my surgery, but now that I'm back on there, good Lord, look out! It's
Watch
kinda
out!
scary.
Here we go, Doctor. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
All right, y'all take care.
Okay, you too. Bye bye.
I'm sad.
Well, that was
I had 5 pages of notes for him.
Sorry. That
And
was
then it
we had to do that one
Yeah.
because he called in on his cell
And it
phone.
didn't even
the-
occur to me. He was
Oh,
on his cell phone. He can't hear me. And I swear, I thought Kelly tried to hit me.
well, she
All I
did.
saw was her hand going like,
I was trying to tell you, stop asking.
You can ask all you want, but I can't hear you. He can't hear you. But anyway, it was, sometimes we do things as we have to do the impromptu quickly.
oh, I understand.
That's
And
the way it
hey,
works.
when the man calls,
I'm explaining to the folks out there listening. That's why it was just me that time. Y'all could have come stood around me and hollered into the phone.
No, I don't want to do that. You handled it quite well. I'm just disappointed now. I had all these bullet points.
When we do old school at times,
Yes.
sometimes we got to do old school, do
I was
whatever it
wondering,
takes
'cause
to get it done.
The look on your face when the phone rang, and I'm like, who
I saw
was
who it
calling?
was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, just save up your list, Lee.
It'll
and
come
then-
around.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I'll be seeing them
back.
again soon, I'm
Yeah.
sure. But the town hall, if you're really interested, you can go to Congressman Murphy's Facebook page, and you can. There's a link to sign up to get his newsletter.
Okay. We're going to do, I'm going to submit a bid
Yes.
to the federal government on behalf of Live and Local Real Talk.
Right.
Now, that will require the three of us to once a week to manage to go to Washington, D.C. I'm going to put a bid in for $900,000 a year. Can y'all manage that once a
No,
week?
I'm just going to get
We
tickets to the baseball game.
We can go once a week and water those dang plants. I hate plants.
I know it.
And then we can charge the travel time, the
Right.
expenses off of that. We still end up with $800,000 a year.
But once you get on his list, you
Good
know,
God.
you will get calls about his town hall,
Yeah.
which there was probably over 30 questions asked last night, which you learn so much about Doge. I know a lot of people are thinking that these Doge people are pulling these big high salaries and stuff. They're not. I mean, and he explained all that. I wish he'd had more time to go into
Yeah, well, we
that.
got it. We'll have him again shortly.
Yes, well, we will. And he went into more detail about the tariffs and how that works. And he went into a lot of detail about the Ukraine war. And he also talked about Medicaid because that was put on somebody asked about that. He says, no, they're not cutting Medicaid. No, they're not doing away with Medicaid. He said they're reforming it because they have a lot of waste. And he gave an example of a 36-year-old woman that had approached him about Medicaid and why are you cutting my Medicaid? He said, we're not cutting Medicaid. But he said, but you're on Medicaid? She says, yes. She said, I wear hearing aids.
Yeah,
That was her disability.
Yeah.
And she's on Medicaid.
But that is a disability.
it definitely is.
Yes.
So I don't know what the problem
I
is.
got that.
Well, yeah, but how many people do you know? I mean, I know people that wear hearing aids and they go to work.
Yeah.
Well,
You
a lot
know.
of people that work have Medicaid, though.
Yeah, but this woman was not working at all. She was sitting at home, he explained, getting Medicaid because she was considered disabled because she was wearing hearing aids. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying
But she is
you don't
disabled.
get Medicaid constantly around the clock. You get it to buy the hearing aid and go back for an annual checkup.
But it's like he said, there was a lot of able-bodied people that did have disabilities, but still could be in the workforce.
Yeah, well,
And that's what they're looking at, stuff
I'm-
like that.
You know, if a military would do that too,
Right.
some of the disability issues, they would
Right.
come to terms.
Right.
Can you imagine? Can I go off on just a second here?
Yeah,
I've
go
said
ahead.
it before.
Go right ahead. Have some drink, some
You
coffee.
know, back in between all sorts of good stuff, when I was doing commercial photography, I was hired by one PI company in particular because they specialize in workman comp claims.
I did
They
that.
were hired to go out and do it, and then they hired me because that was in the days before anybody could go buy a camera at Best Buy and shoot pictures.
Right.
I shot photographs from sometimes extremely long distances that was not available. The digital world made it available to pretty much anybody that can shoot a picture, not a photograph. There's a difference, but they can shoot a picture, get a good picture. But I found people out there doing things like there's one firefighter that he got injured on the job training.
Ooh,
Then he got permanent disability,
wow.
workman's comp, and all sorts of good stuff. Well, this guy had a back injury, and I got pictures of him on the back of a boat in the Cape Fear River, putting a set of double tanks on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how heavy they are? I do. They're heavy,
Marissa.
and jumping overboard.
Right, right.
Now that is not a back injury that should be paid for the rest of your life.
I
right?
told you I did one on a postal employee
But-
that claimed he had a bad back, but
Yep.
yet when I got out there, he was up a ladder painting his house.
Yeah, but can you imagine if of all of the folks who were getting medical disability who had been in the military
Right.
and were out doing whatever?
Yeah.
Imagine what would happen if you applied the same rules of the road
Mm-hmm.
to the medically disabled because of issues in the military.
I don't know.
Just asking.
We have Marissa on the phone.
Marissa or Marissa?
Marissa.
Marissa. Good morning.
Hello, long time no talk.
Where you been
Hey.
hiding, girl?
Yeah.
Trust me, I've been in the trenches, but you just haven't been hearing about it.
Uh-oh.
Well, no, I wanted to call in, so I'm gonna come off a little bit peeved here. I mean, you know that I'm a disability rights advocate, and
You're right.
to
Me
hear
too.
that, yeah, and Greg Murphy is sitting here saying a 36-year-old able-bodied woman on hearing aids. Medicaid is not easy to come by. And they do annual checks, Rayford, like you said, even Kelly, you said, if she has hearing aids and she's been deemed that she can't work and she needs Medicaid, I mean, there's a reason for that. There's, investigations that need to go through. I have children that are Medicaid that are all neurodivergent, but after the restructuring to curb federal spending by North Carolina Medicaid, they were put into 3 different categories. They broke it up, I think, into 14 subdivisions, and it actually cut care. I'm sitting on medical bills that we didn't have before for my now 15-year-old daughter for her regular care, her life-saving care.
Mm-hmm.
So there have been restructures to try to curb federal spending, and 70% the budget for the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services comes from federal aid. So, that's an entire different conversation. But for Greg Murphy to suppose that, there's able-bodied people, but with the rollback of DEI, diversity, inclusion, these workplaces are no longer under any obligation to make these accommodations for these disabled people to work. So we're kind of in this weird, circular argument here about what people can work and what people can't work. But if this 36-year-old woman qualified for Medicaid because she needs hearing aids, there's a lot more to the story that I don't think Greg Murphy is putting forward. Yes, I'm sure that there are people that are sitting and not doing anything and they're milking the system. I'm all for exposing waste and fraud, but let's bring in licensed forensic auditors and actual investigative people, not these 19 to 24-year-old techies that are having to roll back on a lot of the stuff they're announcing because they're realizing that they're making cuts that, oops, we shouldn't have cut that. We shouldn't have cut the red wire. We should have cut the blue wire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm going off on a rant here, but right now our disabled and neurodivergent demographic and community is under attack, and they have been for the last month. People are scared. People are wondering, is my stuff going to get cut? Whether it's because of misinformation being put out there, but at the end of the day, they're wanting to cut back from what I understand. They're wanting to cut back federal aid to the states and make the states foot the bill. But what that's going to most likely mean is the states are going to have to raise taxes to fill in that gap that the federal funding for the bill or the budgets are no longer going to be filling. So where is that 70% of federal aid going to come from our North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services? Because you can't get blood from a stone. It's going to have to come from the people. Yes, do we need to get these people off of the programs that don't need to be on there, that are, lying? They have people, 20 people living in a house and they're not reporting them? Yes, investigate that. But for that 36-year-old woman who is scared because she needs that Medicaid for her hearing aid and what other supplemental services she needs, I think we're attacking the wrong problem.
Well, let me ask you, you've thrown out a ton here, Marissa, but let me ask you this.
I know. I'm angry.
Hold on. Well, chill. This lady with a hearing aid, just take her for example. And let's suppose that she's getting Medicaid constantly. She's getting a monthly check because she can't go to work because she can't hear, but she's got hearing aids now from Medicaid and she can go to work. It is because she's no longer disabled if she's got hearing aids to be able to perform the tasks that she was able to perform when she had good hearing.
But you don't get them. Medicaid's
You're still
insurance.
disabled.
You don't get a monthly check
Yeah,
for
Medicaid is
Medicaid.
I don't know.
insurance.
So-
Medicaid isn't a monthly stipend.
No, it's
You
health
can get
insurance.
supplemental Social Security.
But she
But
can.
that's still.
I don't think that they're going to cut her getting a hearing aid every year or 2 years or whatever they have to put a new one through for. I don't think that's going to be the issue.
Well, let me give you this example.
Okay.
And this actually happened to me. So my daughter needs sleep.
Okay, you went away. Your daughter needs something.
Yes, so she needs something.
Okay.
She needs something. A year ago at her annual checkup, we were told that her provider got knocked out of network. Her provider that she had been seeing for 2 years got knocked out of network because she was recategorized as Trillium under these cuts that I mentioned earlier. So I have 2 daughters on United Healthcare because they don't have as many needs as my 15-year-old daughter who was put on Trillium, which is a bit more comprehensive. They determined through these cuts, all of a sudden, her ophthalmologist that she had been seeing since 2, that had operated on her, no issues, was no longer in network. So now I had to pay out of pocket or wait another 6 months for a new appointment. But I went ahead and I had to pay out of pocket. It was a couple $100. Luckily, I had it on a credit card, but not every person has that. Now, it turns out a month later, they said, oops, sorry, that was a mistake. We didn't mean to take that provider out of network. And I discovered that at a recent annual, her annual this year. So, but I had to pay for the visit out of pocket. I still have to pay for her glasses out of pocket because Medicaid doesn't cover, doesn't always cover the actual glasses, depending on what provider you go through. So, but still, it incurred an out-of-pocket cost. Now they said, well, we accept United Healthcare, so I could have possibly switched her to the other category, but I didn't want to do that at the expense of her losing her neurology.
We've got a gentleman on here every Wednesday at 7:45 in the morning. Spends about 30 to 45 minutes with us. You actually need to give him a call. He handles Medicare, Medicaid cases. He is an expert, and he doesn't charge you for his services. He's got every insurance plan there is available under Medicare and Medicaid. All of it's available. You need one person to give you information. You don't need to be getting it from 30 different sources.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to
I'm not saying that I'm getting it from 30 different sources. I'm getting this straight from the ophthalmologist who said that for a month they were knocked out of network and it caused a panic and people were having to pay out of pocket.
I understand. This is a person that at that point in time you could have reached out to. He could have intercepted and interceded for you. Guarantee you. He has for so many other people, our folks here, including me.
All three of us.
All three of us, we kind of depend upon. He's our go-to. He's like our concierge. But anyway, he does it for so many people all over North Carolina, but primarily in the Eastern area here. You need to talk with him, and I think you're going to get a
I'd
message.
be happy to.
You're going to get a message with his telephone number on it shortly.
Yes.
So
yeah, I'd be happy to because of the EEG cost.
That you do need because you've got a lot of issues there that you need to get resolved, and he can help you. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure too.
Well, I think also too, because I know who Marissa's daughter is. See, she's going to qualify for a tailored plan based on her disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not something Peter's going to be able to help her with. She's going to have to be under Trillium side.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah. The other two, I don't understand why Marissa, they didn't put all 3 kids under Trillium though. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
That's weird to me.
The extent or non-extent of their disabilities or their neurodivergent.
But they have regular Medicaid too, so that's weird. They didn't just because you guys are all in the same household. Why they didn't just keep? She would get more specialized care. And one good thing about Trillium with that stuff, they have, access to a lot of extra programs for, people in that category. But it's odd to me they didn't take all your kids. That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and that's anybody that I have spoken to at these appointments ever since they did these recategorizations and broke them up into smaller group plans. The medical providers have hated it because it's really made it more difficult, especially for people to get care that's affordable. Because, I mean, for example, Raylan needs an EEG once a year. She has a seizure disorder. And I'm not trying to put all of her information out there. That's not for me to give. I'm trying to give her bodily autonomy. But, in this instance, something that was previously covered, I'm now getting a bill for. And that is because of the restructuring. I am working on having the ability to pay because, again, disabilities are not cheap. But, for somebody, they're able-bodied now. No, you're not suddenly not disabled because you have an accommodation or a hearing aid or something to give you equitable access to the workplace. But even then, these people, even with the ADA in place, Kelly, I know you and I have had discussions at length about this, even with the ADA in place, the American with Disabilities Act, and IDEA, which is supposed to protect, the accommodations for kids with IEPs and 504s in schools, you still butt up against people in administration or in workplaces that aren't following it.
Very true.
Not everybody has the money to go, to a lawyer and file a non-compliance lawsuit.
That's
That's
super
another
true.
issue that we've seen in our own school district. So, yes, this woman she has hearing aids because of Medicaid, because of insurance. We're not talking about if she's getting Social Security disability or Social Security supplemental income, which is also that's a crock half the time. I did try to get that at one point. They said, okay, well, basically how this works is you're allotted $670. So if you make $666, we'll give you a $4 check. That's how supplemental security or Social Security income works.
Okay.
So, and disability, yes, I got disability qualified for my daughter. She at least has it per the Social Security office. She is disabled, but we don't get any benefits out of that.
Okay.
But at least I have that piece of paper that qualifies her as that. But no, my whole thing is for Greg Murphy or anybody to sit here and say, well, they're getting these things, so now they should be able to go work. That's way too broad a brushstroke. We don't know.
And we do not know and we do not know the specifics either of this young lady with the hearing aids, do we? We do not know anything about her, do we? Other than she's got a hearing disability.
Don't.
Okay.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we just can't blow it off. Everybody is just like her. And she may not be just like everybody.
And I'm not saying that either, but it has to be a case by case.
Yes, it does.
She has hearing aids, she can go work.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little, the math isn't entirely adding up there. But again, we don't know her situation. I am all for exposing fraud, people who are milking the system and going after it. But I think it needs to be looked at by a case by case basis by licensed professionals. I don't know why insurance companies are allowed to overrule licensed medical professionals and say, oh, we're not paying for this, even though the doctor is saying this person needs this. But again, that's another discussion. That's an entirely other rabbit hole. But it's just, I called in because wait a minute, Medicaid is an insurance. It's not a payout. There are other programs that pay out, but that's not what Medicaid is. So people are valid in their fear when they're talking about making cuts, and states are not going to be able. I mean, the Medicaid portal went down for a day after the first freeze when it was announced. That entire whiplash back and forth about we're cutting it. Oh, no, we're not. We're rescinding the memo. We're still doing the freezes. Oh, no, we're not. And Medicaid was down for a day. So people are scared.
Okay.
So the woman is entirely valid.
All right. We do appreciate your call, Marissa. Good luck with that.
Thank you,
And please, you should have an email by now.
Yeah, I sent you a text.
Or a text message. You go ahead and reach out to Peter Wright. He's a good guy, and he'll sit down and you come by. He'll come by and see you, or you can come by and see him.
He's been through the ringer.
He's been through the ringer personally. That's why he's involved in what he's doing. Is to help people.
I would behoove you to put that also on your Facebook page.
It's there.
And say, hey, okay, if it's, definitely make that widely known, because there are a lot of people, a lot of parents with children who are in, I don't want to say worse condition, but in similar or even, I consider myself lucky. I consider myself lucky that I've been able to get this far for my children, advocating for them and get them the services and accommodations they need. But it has still been a fight, and now it looks like it's going to be an even harder fight.
Yep.
But
Okay, well, good luck with that.
No.
We've got to run here.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marissa.
Thank you, Marissa. Good luck. I think that Peter can help her. And for you other folks out there who may be in a similar situation, you don't know what's going on, especially if you've got people in your own family under different plans and you're having to juggle all of those yourself. This may be beyond your abilities. You may be working too much to be able to do that. I don't know. But Kelly, trying to get a bunch of different, even medical providers, get a bunch of those individuals together. If they had the big picture of everybody in the family, they might be able to help in other ways. I don't know.
Is Steve. We want to do weather first. Did we do weather?
We're going to do weather, but Steve, hang in there for just a second. All right, offshore today, out to 20 nautical miles. High pressure is moving in from the west today and tomorrow, resulting in fair weather, it says, sooner or later, and a warming trend, which should continue into the weekend. However, the ocean is still going to be challenging. Northerly winds 25 to 30, gusts up to 45 knots, diminishing to 15 to 20 with gusts of 30 this afternoon. Seas 7 to 10 feet. Go for a ride there, Kelly. Subsiding to 5 to 8 this afternoon near shore. 4 to 6 footers. Sounds and rivers are very rough, diminishing to choppy in the afternoon. Tomorrow, westerly winds 5 to 10, becoming southwesterly in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5, about 2 feet near shore tomorrow. Good. Sounds and rivers a light chop. Thursday, looking pretty good again. Southwesterly winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 to 4. Sounds and rivers a light chop.
Today it's going to start out cloudy and then gradually it will clear with a high today of 70. The winds will be from the north, 9 to 13 mile an hour with 20 mile an hour gusts. Tonight it will be clear, a low of 44. Tomorrow sunny, high of 77. Tomorrow night clear, low of 49. And on Thursday sunny, high of 76.
Wait, Kelly, you got to give this right here.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, Lord, what?
All right, this only take
I'm
a
all about
second.
this because we know.
Yes.
Oh,
about
something's
the
wrong.
moon.
Yeah.
I smell a rat.
I'm a moon girl.
No, Kelly,
So,
what?
March 13 and 14 is the first total lunar eclipse.
Moonbeam.
Yeah. And also we'll have a blood moon, which I'm
The first lunar
super
eclipse since
excited
when?
about.
Mm-hmm.
And during the event the moon will slip into Earth's shadow for 65 minutes and we will have our blood moon.
Where will you be able to see it?
Across North America.
Yep. And I'm going to drive out in the county where I can see it get out of my neighborhood.
Let's go to the beach.
That'll be a perfect place to
Yes.
see it. Yeah. So, but I'm all about a blood moon.
Depends
and
on
I'm all
what
about
time,
a lunar
is there
eclipse.
a moon rise. You need to find before you decide to go to the beach.
Well, there's a time on here
Just
for
need more coffee.
when it's going to happen. I know we're ignoring Rayford. So,
No,
but
seriously.
yeah, there's a lunar eclipse, the first one since 2022 of a total lunar eclipse.
Yep.
March 13 to 14, we're going to have our nice blood moon. Very
That's right.
excited about
March
that.
13 and 14, or
13/14.
so
going
it's
into
coming
over-
around
right,
midnight.
Right, and then
Gotcha.
going into the next
Now
day.
I know
Yeah.
what time it is.
65
Steve,
minutes.
bail me out. Help me. Help me.
Steve,
help
please
me.
help us.
Mayday,
girls.
Mayday. Where'd he go? He hung up. Can't even count on Steve. He bailed.
What's
Do
going
you
on?
blame him? He left you
Whatever.
on your
Do
own.
I'm
you
going to play my
blame-
song again if you keep it up.
Go ahead.
You like
I'm
that one.
all about the song.
Hard to
personally.
imagine a U.S. oil tanker, the
Oh, I've seen
Stena
that, yeah.
Immaculate, at anchor, awaiting notice to come to a Great Britain commercial port, struck broadside by another big ship flying the Portuguese flag.
How do you not see the ship?
I'm going to get into that. The cargo ship, I'm going to pronounce it like it's written. Y'all figure out if that's what they meant. It's spelled SOLONG, one word. So long.
So long.
The cargo ship, the So Long, had come the short distance from a Scottish port when she ran into the American tanker.
It's a big ocean.
I can understand large ships hitting small fishing and pleasure boats that anchor in shipping channels. You know, you got a 30-foot boat out there and you anchor up in the middle of the Beaufort Inlet shipping lane. You're going to get run over, perhaps. They won't see you because you guarantee you won't have the right lights on. Even then, those conditions are rare. In this situation, a normal person would expect that both ships were sending out their current status. It matters not whether one of the ships was at anchor. They've got devices on board that transmit their current location and their speeds and all that sort of good stuff. It tells you which way they're going and all that stuff. I look at them all the time.
You know what the tanker was carrying?
I know we get in there. Oil fuel is an oil tanker. We're loaded with jet fuel. Guess what for? This oil tanker, the Stena Immaculate, was waiting.
And guess
there
what else?
Oh, what was the other one?
To resupply. It was there to resupply our military planes. The U.S. oil
She's
tanker.
got
The
something else.
cargo vessel
The other
was
vessel.
carrying sodium cyanide.
Yes, it was.
That's a problem.
That's why everybody jumped in the water.
Well, how do you not see a giant ship?
Any vessel underway, especially at night or in less than ideal weather, should also have a lookout on duty. A living, air-breathing individual is supposed to be there on duty. Someone with binoculars or night vision gear, if necessary, watching for boats or other obstacles in the way. In addition to an automated alert about nearby boats and ships, I'm sure that the Portuguese ship had a working radar, which would have detected any vessels in its path. One thing I can offer, someone was asleep at the wheelhouse.
That's what I was
More than
getting
that.
ready
That's the
to
one
say.
thing that I will tell you right now. One person's missing, last I heard,
They
and
hadn't found him.
hadn't found that
I
person yet.
just looked.
Steve, you're back, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank
I'm here.
God.
Sorry, I had to dip out for a second. I got my granddaughter. My daughter's got clinicals at
okay.
Memorial this next few weeks, so
Oh, goodness.
I get to watch my granddaughter
Well,
during
good
that
for
time.
you. That's a reward.
That is.
It is. It is. She's 20 months, I think now.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you got her at the right time to create all sorts of bad habits. I know that.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna have a guitar going during this time.
I'm working on it with her. I got one sitting right by her crib right now, or a playpen.
Good.
And every time she comes over, I strum it for her, and she comes up and strums it with me. So
Oh.
Can
I'm trying to get her on it. None of my kids play
do you
at all.
when you do you have a song that you can put her to sleep with there? When for nap time, I mean, when it's time to take a nap, can you just sit there and play some little quiet little ballad that she just oohs and ahs and then drifts off to sleep?
I've tried,
Oh,
but she's one of those youngsters that has to go until she completely runs out of gas and falls right down.
oh, gotcha.
Bless her.
It happens. Well, it sounds like Precious. That would be a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah, they are for sure. She's a bundle of joy.
All right, you didn't call for that. What's up?
Yeah. I was listening to Dr. Murphy this morning, and many times I hear him, it seems he leaves out some pertinent facts that might change the narrative of the story a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
In him talking about the Social Security Administration running out of money, I didn't hear him mention the $2.9 trillion that the U.S. government still owes that fund that they borrowed.
That's where I was going next, and I ran out of time.
Mm-hmm.
We took the money. We at some point in time after Social Security became a reality, way back before I was born, we somehow the government. I'm not even sure. I don't care who was in power. The government was in power, and they decided, let's take the money from that fund. And while that money's not in that fund, it ain't going to be earning a lot of interest, right? But we could use it for other purposes.
Right.
That's
Well,
just
it was,
wrong.
in 1990, it was illegal for them to take money from that fund, but in 1990, Congress passed a law that said they could borrow money from that fund.
Yeah, have they paid it back yet? With interest?
As of August of 2022, they owe $2.9 trillion with a T.
So they haven't paid it back, and they haven't paid us any interest on it, right?
Right.
Will you join my class action suit against the U.S. government?
Oh.
Well, can we think of a better time when everybody should have to pay their fair share of taxes so that we can get our finances in order?
Good luck.
I agree.
I'll have better luck getting a suit and winning a suit than you're going to get with that one. So
it's funny how problems have a clear solution, but we ain't got no path to get there.
Nope.
Yeah.
And those clear solutions went out.
Problem with
Those clear solutions went out with a guy named Buford Pusser back in the early 70s, 60s in Tennessee. You know who he was?
Yeah.
The sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there's a movie called Walking Tall. You need to rent the original.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that. I just didn't recognize who you were talking about.
Watch the one with the rock.
No, they came out long before that. But
I
they
know. I
remade
said,
it with
watch the one with The Rock. It's better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen both.
The Rock?
The Rock.
Who's The Rock?
He's
Dwayne Johnson,
Dwayne
the
Johnson. He's
wrestler.
Oh,
a wrestler, but he's also a movie actor. He's good.
if he's a wrestler, he's already an actor, right?
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with Steve. I cannot disagree with you. They screwed us over. They stole money from the money that I was contributing, you were contributing, me since I was about 16 into this fund, and they stole it. They just outright stole it and didn't pay it back, and they haven't paid the interest on the money that they stole. So what's wrong with this picture?
I don't know, man. I started paying Social Security when I was 12 years old,
Did you?
working in tobacco.
Oh,
And they had to pay
wow.
the people I worked for paid it for me. They didn't take it out of what I got paid, but
When I worked in tobacco, it was from my granddaddy, so I didn't get any money.
I worked for like an industrial tobacco farm.
Well, we got paid with food, and it was good food. Grandmama did that part.
But anyway, that was something I wanted to say is that, and I ain't trying to pick on any particular group. They all cherry pick
it's
their
called
facts.
it's
to
called
fit
the
their
government.
narratives. Right. But all politicians seem to cherry pick their facts to fit their narrative instead of just giving an honest report.
Well, they give you an honest report from the information that they're provided by the handlers that assist them. They cannot themselves do it all.
Right.
You know that.
Do
They got a whole
you really think
staff
that
of people.
Do you really think Dr. Murphy don't know that the government owes Social Security?
Oh, it does, but he
almost $3 trillion?
he didn't get that far yet.
But that wouldn't fit the narrative he was trying to.
Well, if
tell
he might not have he might not have wants to, but we're the ones that brought up Social Security and stuff.
You know what
So,
I would love?
Right.
So
I would love to
do that.
see Steve and Dr. Murphy just sit right across from each other.
Yeah.
Give them about an hour.
Hey, I'm going to handcuff both of them, though.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I
interesting.
would be happy to do that, and not to attack him, but just to ask questions about what he says.
Yeah. I'd like to see that.
There's a lot about what about this or what about that. Even with the story y'all were talking about this morning with the lady with the hearing aids.
I don't have enough
Like a very
information.
Selective cherry pick story.
Yeah.
I agree. There should be a whole lot more facts around something like that than just something so general.
And when we find out those
Yeah.
facts, we may totally agree
Yeah.
with the bottom analysis. I do not know because I do not know.
See, that was something that
Right.
when I was on his town hall, I wrote 5 pages of questions. And these were from all the people that are concerned. And this was one of the stories that he gave. He did not go into a lot of detail because he had hundreds of questions to answer. But I wrote that down. But then again, we weren't expecting him to call this.
No, we did
so
not have
Right,
that.
We weren't ready for it.
This is
I
his
did
normal
understand
time to
that. I
call.
understand.
Yeah, today, for you folks who missed it, today was his monthly time, second Tuesday in every month. I just verified it yesterday, and then the handler sent me back. He said, first, yes, he's on the schedule. I do that. And then he called me, sent me a note back in about an hour, said, whoops, he's got another place to be. Well, it turns out it had to be at the baseball game or something this
Yeah,
morning. So
baseball
he
field.
wasn't going to be available, but he chose to make it available, and he just called my cell phone.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I get that. I ain't blaming y'all for not asking them questions, or anything like that.
call me when my drawers down, Steve.
Well, I
okay?
was trying to write
Right.
notes
Anybody-
and send them over.
Right. Anybody who has kids, or has raised kids, I ain't gonna say young kids because it's something you learn as they grow up. Is that you learn to detect stories that are missing pertinent facts.
Mhm.
You learn to detect holes in the story because children are the worst for wanting to spin something to make themselves sound better.
You mean
in
they
a bad
lie, is
situation.
what you're saying.
Well, they a lie of admission.
That's it. Same
You
thing.
know,
It's a
where
lie.
they leave out facts that would complete. It's still a lie, but
Yeah.
it's where they leave out, the deal. You know what a
I
lie of admission
totally
is.
know.
You leave out a fact that changes the story completely.
I haven't dealt with kids and arrested
Like,
kids.
If the woman with hearing aids is also a paraplegic, that would change the story completely.
Totally.
And she is,
I'm
but I'm
sure he
saying,
would.
So we'll find
so
out.
anyway, that's what I want to talk about.
Yep, gotcha.
This morning. And other than that, y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you,
Stay dry.
Steve. Goodbye. I got a new best friend.
Really? You've got a friend?
I have a new best friend forevermore.
Who would that be?
Or at least when the $100,000 that he just won in a second chance in the
I
North
saw
Carolina
it.
Education Lottery runs out.
Did they give a name?
Evan Bryan of Jacksonville won the loot. It was the second place prize in the Money Makers drawing. I don't even know what that is. I guess the lottery's got something.
They have
Money Makers
so many
drawing.
games now.
Congratulations to my new friend. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, we need to have him on the show. Bring donuts, no bring steak.
Just bring a checkbook. We heard from one of our frequent guys yesterday, callers, concerning about 80,000 employees in the VA that are likely on their way to an unemployment line, right?
Right.
Sad, of course, when folks lose their jobs. I agree with that. Looking a little deeper into that whole VA thing, I'm getting extra information that I'm getting confusing information. The number of jobs being eliminated is the same number of new positions created when the PAC Act of 2022 was enacted that added the additional employees to the VA, healthcare workers that the previous administration said were needed to handle cases of additional patients in the system. In other words, they're going to drop it back down to the same level it was in 2019. The same number of VA. There were 399,000, almost 400,000, and now they're up to almost 500,000. So they're going to drop it back down to the 400,000 level. Let me ask y'all. I don't go to the VA for health care. I have not heard of anybody going to the VA that says today that it's better with the extra 80,000 people that came on board in 2022
It's not.
than it was in 2019. Have y'all heard what is the return on the investment of these 80,000 people? Tell me that. I'm asking, I don't know.
Mhm.
The cuts are designed to return the VA to the same staffing levels it had before the Biden administration increased those numbers by about 30%. Do the math, that's what you'll see.
Well-
We know that the VA has not met the needs of our military personnel.
Correct.
That's what the VA is there for.
Mhm.
That's a given. That's what they're supposed to do. Kelly,
Yes.
there was a case that I was looking at one of the individuals. He's in there doing counseling
Mhm.
for people. Nowhere, he's a prior military. He was in combat. Nowhere are there any certifications that they provided for this individual. What makes him qualified and to do this?
He's not.
Nobody listed him as having these qualifications or certifications.
It's a license. You can't be certified. You have to be licensed.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I don't know that he doesn't, but you would think that when they do a profile story on him and say, oh, so-and-so, he was in war and he was in combat, and he says, I'm more afraid right now losing my job than I was in combat. Really? Getting shot at?
I'm
He got
not
a Purple Heart.
surprised.
But he's now qualified to counsel
No,
other
he's
people?
not qualified to counsel unless he has.
Do you understand where I'm
degree and
coming from?
license.
They didn't say that he did not,
But
but
I would think they would have
you
listed
would
him as
have
being
listed him
licensed.
as that.
Correct.
All they did was listed him as a person who counsels others with
See,
similar
the worst part
situations.
about it is they
Okay,
throw
so-
the name counsel around.
I
And-
can be a counselor.
Well, North Carolina general statute says you have to be licensed to call yourself a counselor. It's a general statute. You
Come
can
arrest
get,
me. I'm a
You
counselor.
can get arrested for
I
that.
counsel y'all every day.
Mhm. Like you have to be very careful.
Depends upon what you're counseling for, too, right? There are legal counselors out there. They're lawyers.
But they're
They're
licensed.
There are other people out there that, our ham radio group, they counsel all the people who want to be hams every week, every month when we have a meeting.
So,
We hope.
but I know that the VA's horribly broken. I deal with that a lot. So,
Okay, you're live and local. How are you?
It's Larry this time.
Hello, Larry. This time, how are you? Mr. This time.
What is my name, Larry?
Yeah, you're Larry.
It's Larry
It
now.
says you're Larry. This time
Yeah, hi, it's Larry.
is what Lee
Yeah,
told me.
it's Larry. I have a question for Lee. Lee, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Actually, Lee, I apologize. I have a question for Kelly. Kelly, can you hear me?
yes.
She hears you too.
Lee, first of all, Lee's my favorite person online.
Thanks a
I would
lot.
never disrespect her.
I appreciate that.
No, I guess you guys. I really like Kelly. So Lee, I know that you have an advanced degree. You have a brilliant understanding of the human mind. You have an understanding of how humans react, how they act. You just have an ability to decipher, just the human brain, how it works. Correct?
Are you talking to me or Kelly?
Kelly.
I'm talking to Kelly.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought.
Okay. Is there a question?
Is
No,
he
no.
correct in assuming that you
You
have an
haven't-
ability to know how the human brain works?
Yes.
The human brain or the human mind?
Both.
Okay. She does.
So you accept that compared to most laymen's or laywomen's, that you have an ability to understand how humans, how their brains work. Maybe if they're lacking this or that, why they do this or that. You have an ability to define who they are as a person. Correct?
Well, not with just by one glance. No, nobody can do that.
No. Okay. After maybe 4 or 5 sessions,
Yes.
you have a unique ability, right?
I'll have them figured out. Yes.
No, you don't.
Okay.
No. That's just it. You don't.
Why?
You've convinced yourself. You have some sort of degree. You went to some sort of university that has validated you and said, "Listen, there's something unique or special about your mind, and you have this unique ability, a perception, to decipher other human beings, and there's something unique about you."
Okay, let me ask you a
There's
question.
nothing unique about your. There's nothing. No. I'm very much.
No. Me, I'm going to ask, because I'm going to interrupt you for just a second, Charlie, because I'm going to ask you a question. You've made this analysis about Kelly because what is your ability? What is your certification? What is your smartness to be able to make this sort of decision about Kelly or about Lee or about me or anybody else over a telephone from, I guess you're in California, you claim to be. What is your qualifications there? What are your qualifications with that?
I don't have any qualifications.
Well, then why in the Sam Hill should we even talk to you if you go make comments like that about Kelly or me or anybody else?
I missed
You
that.
made a statement that no, you do not, Kelly. You do not have that ability. You made that statement.
Well, no.
Yes, you
went
did
to a
make that
university.
statement. And how do you know?
No, I did not make that statement.
Go back and listen to it. We
I'm
can.
disgusted and sickened by people. I'm sickened by people in the psychiatric, psychologically field. I'm disgusted by people that are so messed up in their own minds that they have the ability to judge other people. They have an ability to define other people's mental inabilities.
So in
They're
other words,
completely screwed up.
in other words, doing exactly the same thing that you're doing right now without certification or without any training. Is that right?
But what does training have to do with anything?
I mean, ability training. I mean, good God, did you ever learn to ride a bicycle? Did you get some training? Did you get some training wheels? I mean, did you learn to drive a car? Did you take driver's ed? That's training.
Well,
Did you go to school? Did you learn how to write? Did you learn how to read? You got trained, right? What do you mean? What's training got to do with it?
No. Certain people have an original ability to write more than other individuals. I
Not
have
if
an
they can't
advanced
write?
ability to write. No, but I have an ability to write more advanced than most people. I have a very big problem with Kelly.
Okay, well,
I have
that's
a
good.
problem with everybody in the psychiatric field. No, I'm not trying.
Okay, so let me ask you this: what is the root cause of your problem with everybody who's a counselor or who is in the psychiatric field? Is it because you have had failures from people like that?
Because
Have you been to counselors?
99% of them.
How do you know? You do not know about numbers. 99.9% of all figures are made up on the spot. So no, seriously, what is your problem with counselors? Do you have experience with them?
From my experience,
Yes.
most people that I've dealt with that proclaim themselves to be, have an understanding of human psychology. From my experience, most of them are so disturbing. Their hypocrisy is so disturbing and gross. Behind closed doors, if people knew who they truly were, they would want nothing to do with them. And I'm not saying Kelly's that person. I like Lee. I would love to talk to Lee. I would never trust Kelly. So,
Okay.
you can say, Charlie, you're a nutcase. But just because you go to university for 8, 12 years, that doesn't mean anything. You've convinced other people that you have some sort of unique ability to grasp the brain, the mind. It's a farce. It's an absolute joke. I know so many people in positions of power.
Charlie, I'm just going to interrupt you for the last time ever.
I love
Lose my number. Do not call us again. You are the farce, Charlie. You won't even tell us who you are or where you live. You give out fake numbers. You give out fake numbers. You're calling. We don't know that you're not one of those fake artificial intelligence individuals. That's what I'm guessing.
I'm a fan of yours.
I understand that. Well, good for you.
I like Lee.
You certainly come around as like you have all the smartness in the world, and from so far, I haven't seen any of it.
That's the beauty about me.
Okay, now we know that you are a self-admitted idiot. So everything you've said about Kelly is stupid. Is that correct?
I'm not saying she's stupid.
You said she's an idiot.
That she's limited. I just want her to admit that her advanced education basically means nothing. She has a minimal understanding of the human psyche, brain, and it's just no. I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
Okay, we got work to do. We'll talk to you later. You're live and local, Real Talk, and we're going to do some weather. Offshore today, it's going to be rocky. Not as bad as it is in here. Out to 20 nautical miles. High pressure is moving in from the west today, and we'll be here again tomorrow. It's going to give us a little bit of fair weather, better than what we've had, a warming trend, which should continue into next weekend. Ocean's going to be a challenge for today anyway. Northerly winds 25 to 30, gusts to 45, diminishing to 15 to 20, with gusts up to 30 this afternoon. Seas 7 to 10 feet, 5 to 8 in the afternoon. Near shore seas 4 to 6 feet. Sounds and rivers very rough, diminishing to choppy in the afternoon. Westerly winds 5 to 10, becoming southwesterly in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5 feet, 2 feet near shore. Sounds and rivers a light chop. Southwesterly winds on Thursday around 10 knots. Seas 2 to 4. Sounds and rivers a light chop.
Today, it'll start out being cloudy and then it will clear with a high of 70. Winds will be from the north at 9 to 13 mile an hour with 20 mile an hour gusts. Tonight, it'll be clear with a low of 44. Tomorrow will be sunny, a high of 77. Tomorrow night, clear, low of 49. And on Thursday, it will be mostly sunny with a high of 76.
Before we go any further,
Yes.
can I make a public service announcement before we get any more calls?
Yes.
All right.
This is for the class of my class.
This is for Jacksonville High School classes. The Project 2025 graduation. You could win $10,000. Let me tell you how.
What?
They're selling tickets for the reverse raffle to benefit Project Graduation, a safe, fun, and unforgettable celebration for the graduating seniors.
Uh-huh.
Tickets are $100 each. The grand prize is $10,000. A reverse raffle is a last person standing contest. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, don't let your number be called too soon. The reverse raffle will be held at 6 p.m. April 4th at the Rustic Barn. You do not have to be present to win. And this is how you can purchase. You can go to their online link, which once I get that, I'll post it. But if you go to Jacksonville High School's webpage, you can get it that way. You can get it in person from a committee member, or you can buy it at the table that for the parents that are there, their sporting events, their PTO table, whatever. You can buy tickets there. But I did have someone that asked us to announce this.
How long
And
are
so-
these tickets going to be on sale? Just one day?
No,
Okay.
they're on sale right now. Well, she did not tell me, but I will find out the rest of it. They're supposed to be updating their Facebook page for Jacksonville High School
Uh-huh.
with more information. So if you're interested in buying a $100 raffle ticket, you stand a chance to win $10,000. My understanding is this also gets you into the event at the Rustic Barn where they'll have food and drink.
What's going to be the
How much is a ticket?
$100?
$100.
But is that only for class of 20? Whatever it
it's anybody at all can buy a ticket and attend the festivities if you want to. You don't have to be a graduate of Jacksonville High School. You don't even have to attend Jacksonville High School. You can just buy a ticket. It's open to the public.
So
It's a fundraiser for the Project
Project
2025 graduation.
What's-
They do this every year.
What is the project 2020? Is it for the class of 2020?
It's for the
class of
graduates
whatever,
that
yeah.
that are graduating 2025. It helps
Oh.
them with their prom. It helps them with graduation and all sorts of stuff like that.
I thought it was going to be for my reunion next year.
I think
If you want it to
Oh,
be,
this is an
Give me
event.
$10,000. I could use it.
yes,
They have on graduation night. They used to have an event. It's like an all night
yes.
event where they would come to the school.
Right.
The kids spend the night. They have activities. It's designed to keep them out of trouble
That's
and
right.
You know,
keep them safe.
I
It's
have
a good thing.
over the years, being in news and also in law enforcement too, there have been during graduations people who had big plans for their future
Correct.
who died.
That's a true statement. Yeah. So
Anybody know who that number is?
It looks familiar.
it does look.
Go ahead. Let's see if this is a spoofer.
Hello?
I'm sorry, I have the wrong number.
Okay.
That sounded like Joy
It certainly
almost.
sounded like Joy.
And
It did sound
speaking
like
of
Joy.
Joy, she was actually on that town hall last night and
Was she?
asked Congressman a question. I was like, "You got
Joy.
Joy?"
Joy's going to call us
I
back
don't
on our
think that-
regular number here, I'll bet you.
Yeah, I swear that sounded like Joy.
It did sound like Joy.
This was Joy. I'm sure it was Joy. Give us a call back on 910-333-0139.
Well, just answer it something different.
No,
Hello,
that's not the
Joy?
number.
No, that's not Joy.
No.
That was not Joy's number. We have Joy's number on here.
Well, I don't know who it was.
Charlie.
I don't have a clue. Good gracious, y'all confusing me now.
It sounded like Joy. That
Can I
wasn't
get
her
some
number.
counseling? I need some help.
No,
With answering the phone?
Yeah,
that's
this
Charlie.
number's ringing. This
That's
number's
Charlie
ringing.
again.
What? This number?
No, on the other phone.
So
Oh,
this
that
one
one
was
doesn't
not
count.
Joy because
Okay.
we have Joy's number on there.
Joy is
It's on
calling now.
there. Joy is calling us now.
This
Yes.
number is Joy.
I can't. One of
According to
those.
this is.
We're gonna find out. Is this Joy to the world?
Oh my
Hello,
gosh, nobody was answering. It would cut me off, and I'm like, hello?
hello.
We're just having a moment of confusion.
Well, I'm getting ready to put into some more confusion.
First of all, I want to get things straight. Did you just call in on my cell number? Didn't say, "Oh, I got the wrong number." Yeah, that was her.
It didn't ring until after I hung up.
We heard her. We heard you.
We
hear
heard you. And we said that sounds like Joy.
Yeah, we're like, that
I
sounds like
kept
Joy.
hearing y'all. I mean, on the thing, but I couldn't hear you on the telephone.
Okay, we got you now, Joy. What's on your mind? Why are you adding to my confusion?
Well, I'm adding to your confusion because I would just like to have something I'd like to say. I have a schizophrenic, bipolar son
Mm-hmm.
who is 45 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like for Mr. Charlie Lee, whomever, Larry, California, wherever he's from, I want him to know that my son has been to several psychiatrists, mental hospitals, psychologists, and Kelly Knapp is the only individual that has ever reached my son. My son has never opened up to anyone, and Kelly only had a couple of sessions with him to really even get him to even speak hardly about things. And hopefully we're going to get back to that soon when he returns from a little trip that he's away at. Charlie mentioned something about you can go to school 8, 12 years and become a brain, whatever. You know, how long does it take for a doctor? Is he saying that anybody that goes to a university, to operate on a brain, you've got to go to school? I mean, Kelly has not only just had her certificate in schooling, she's had training and years of experience with people with these issues. Charlie needs to find a different... Charlie doesn't know Kelly. Kelly doesn't sugarcoat, first of all, which is great. I mean, you want it, when you go to counseling, she's going to say things, and other individuals will say things that you do not want to hear, but will help you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Charlie if you go to a counselor, they're not going. I don't want anybody that's going to sugarcoat and just hand me a bunch of pills and say you're going to be okay. You've got your inner self. I mean, I love you, Rayford, and I love Kelly, and I love Lee, and y'all all have different personalities. But I know from experience that Kelly Knapp is one of the best individual people inside her house, outside her house, wherever she goes. And Charlie, to be able to call in and not know this individual and know what she's done for other people with special needs, her time that she gives to other individuals, it just infuriates me for him to sit back and think that he can describe who she is, what she is, or what she does. I know from experience that she's an excellent individual, caring, loving person about whomever she speaks with. And Charlie, if he's in California, no wonder he hadn't got the right psychiatrist. They're all wackos out there anyway. But Kelly Knapp is kudos to Kelly Knapp for what she does and has done.
Well, she's running you a check now. It's in the mail.
Well, if it takes one person, Kelly's unique. She's special, and she's got a gift. You ain't gonna pull nothing over Kelly's eyes. You might think you can, but you're not going to.
You know, you bring up a great point, and with medical doctors, or with police officers, or with preachers, or with the priest, or with pretty much anybody in any profession in this world, you're going to find some people that are just not going to be able to reach everybody, but they can. Kelly might be able to reach. I'm going to put your money on right now. Kelly probably would not be able to reach Charlie. I believe he's probably way too far gone for that. But right?
He's not too far gone.
He's not. So you're a better person than I am. I'd write him off in a heartbeat. But I can go to a medical doctor, and I've been to medical doctors. I fired 4 in 1 year.
Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying. For him, I think what upsets me is for him, just by speaking to her over the telephone and to say what he says. I only know because of what an expert and professional person she is. Not only does she portray that her title as being that, but she has that love and the care behind that. Is. And it just upsets me so much that Charlie and Charlie, I do wish he would get help. And Kelly's not anything that he. I mean, I don't know what else. I mean, I don't even have to really justify to Charlie what a difference she's made in our family's lives in such a short period of time. It took 30-some years for him to share with her something that happened, or even talk about things. So I mean, it just infuriates me that he's not the expert, and nobody really knows the brain or the mind when you think about it. Hello, even the experts can't figure out certain things. Even your little thyroid, which you would think would be so easy to fix, doctors don't really know how to fix that. I mean, Charlie, I just wish Charlie the best in his life, and hopefully one day he'll find someone that can connect and help him with the issues that's going on in his life.
Well,
because
it would be nice, but I think he's got the roadblock built so big that if they got credentials after their name, he is not going to pay him any attention whatsoever. I can understand that, because if I just think about it, if I had let, these doctors that I called up because they had all these credentials beside their names in the phone book or wherever I got them, and I said, okay, well, I don't like them because I got those credentials. No, I went to see them, and then I found out I didn't like them. But then I found one. Oh, good gracious. Guess what she's done? I got a reference, though. I got a referral from Kelly and back.
And the thing is lots of times people will go to individuals and they're going to tell them this is what's going on, and they don't want to hear it. So instead of saying, you're wrong, or you this, or you don't know what you're talking about, they hit the nail right on the head. And I can guarantee you that if Kelly Knapp had enough time with an individual in her office, she would eventually find out to help a person any way that she possibly could. So, Charlie, you have your opinion, but I want to tell you different. Kelly is nothing what you have indicated, and I am really upset. And also, one more thing I want to say is about Congressman Murphy's town hall last night. He did a good job. He had so many questions. Everything went
I know,
well,
I
I
couldn't
thought.
get in.
And he could only take only one question from each individual. But I hope he does get the help that he needs.
Yeah.
And
Joe?
Kelly, Lee,
Yes,
Rayford.
Joey.
I love you all.
Same
We
here,
love
Joy.
you.
Okay.
You take care.
Okay.
Now, quit beating Don. You can untie him now. He's able to. He's turn him loose. He's okay.
He was look when I called last night. I didn't think I'd get in on it, and he said, "Don't want to message you sometimes, do you?" I said, "No, not when it comes to my friends or family." I said, "There's certain things you can do, but hey, you're going to hear me roar if I have to roar, and I'm roaring today. And I wish Charlie the best. Don't get me wrong, but I don't. It just upsets me
Gotcha.
what he said."
Thank you, Bam.
Thank you, Joy.
Okay.
Thank you, Joy.
See you later.
Rayford, I have an update from Misty Lee.
Okay, Misty.
About the Jacksonville High
Play
School
Misty for
project
me.
graduation reverse raffle. And she said each ticket admits two to the event, which includes the raffle, silent auction, and food.
Mhm.
This is a fun last person standing type of raffle.
Mhm.
You do not have to be present to win. She did send me the link, so I will add that to
Very good.
the other information that I've
Each-
already
Thank you,
put on there.
Each ticket admits two people
Yes. So you buy one ticket for $100.
and two people. You can
And two
bring. You
people
bring the
can-
guests.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
When is
What do
this?
we got?
It's on April, it's Charlie. It's on April 4th. That is the same thing we did years and years ago. I think you were there, the GOP, when we made so much money. We had that huge reverse
I
raffle.
think I do remember.
When we
April
had
4th.
the headquarters over in New River Shopping Center.
Ah.
It was so much fun.
Oh,
So much fun. Thank you, Misty. And only other question we have, Misty, is when's the cutoff time to buy the tickets?
Yep.
And I will update everything on our website later.
I just
very
want to know
good.
when you're going to bring me my $10,000, and can I get it without buying a ticket?
Right. What? No.
How about you just give me $9,990?
Now, I will tell you,
$9,900.
usually on
And you-
reverse raffles, what happens is, and I'm not sure that they're doing it this way, but when you get down to the last four people left, you generally call the four people if they're not there and say, "Hey, would you like to go ahead and split the 10,000 guaranteed?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Or do you want to just wait to see if you're the last ticket in the pot?"
Well, I'll be the first one who takes the exit stroll.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, do you take that chance and say, "No, I don't want to split it"? And
Well, when you get down to 1 in 4 chance of getting $10,000 or a guaranteed $2,500,
right.
Hmm.
What do you do? What would you do?
What would you do? I don't know what I do.
I don't know. I'd probably feel like
I
that.
could use the 2,500.
I would probably feel like if I didn't split it and say yes, the other three would come after me.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, yeah, I think so.
New plans from the swamp reduce the bloated federal budget's employee system by taking responsibility for local disasters away from the federal government. How about that? Letting the states take over.
Right.
And,
Disaster relief?
yeah, but here's the thing I want to throw out there. That means that all the money that the people in North Carolina have to send to the federal disaster relief to be standing by just in case, you don't have to send it up there. You get to keep all of that money for your own use.
Well, where does North Carolina get it from?
Well,
I thought we got it from the federal government.
Well, we get money that we have to send the federal government all the time as part of the disaster relief,
So-
and then they send it back to us with
When
their
we
share.
have a disaster.
With their share taken out of it.
I just still trying to figure out where it comes from initially.
Well, I don't know. People,
Well, I mean-
taxpayers. But then we don't get as much back as we send out. Now, here's the gamble here. Here's the gamble. Let's suppose we have a devastating year. We have 4 Hurricane Florences this year.
Let's hope not.
I know, we just say we
What?
do.
Yeah.
Then we do not generate enough money in North Carolina alone to take care of the disaster relief for that, right? So would there be a conglomeration of all, like they have Jones Onslow, Carolina Power, or whatever it's called now, Progress Energy, and all the other electrical providers, they get
Duke.
together and they split it up and they go out and help each other?
Oh, yes.
Or would the states just say, no, sir, well, Florida sent people up here.
Yes, they
assist.
did. I have a
Tennessee,
new
and
respect.
I mean, we've sent people to Florida. We've sent law enforcement people to Florida. Florida sent law enforcement people to Curie Beach when I was down there with the
Reminds
hurricane.
me.
So, I mean, all sorts of stuff.
Question came up on that town hall last night, and you just reminded me when you talked about Florida. Tate brothers. Kelly, do you know who the Tate brothers
I know who the
are?
brothers are. Yeah.
Okay, the Tate brothers.
They're
Because
two dirty lowlifes in Florida who
okay.
have engaged in like human trafficking and, and
No.
kind of like an Epstein type situation.
Oh, really?
Probably not to that level.
Somebody called in yesterday on the town hall, and they said they were really super upset that the Trump administration was busy deporting illegals, but yet they were letting the Tate brothers back into Florida. But
I thought they were in jail.
But from what I see, they're facing an active criminal investigation. That's why
thought
they're
they were
back in Florida.
Are they
but-
they're in Florida, but are they from Florida or are they from outside the United States? Where are they from?
Romanian.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
then kick
they've
them out.
lived in Florida, but yes, they're
Yes.
wealthy and they're they're jerks.
Generally.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
facing charges of human trafficking,
Yeah.
setting off a flurry of concern and anger, and a state level criminal investigation.
Send them to Guantanamo Bay.
And
Just
one
let
of the
them hang out.
brothers gained notoriety as an online influencer and has amassed a massive following peddling sexist content about male dominance. And
Yeah,
like
they're
Kelly
weird.
says, real POS.
They're weird. Yeah, they're younger.
Well, Florida's got the gas chamber. I mean, they got the electric chair. Take them to South Carolina. It's cheaper.
You do
$6.
firing squad, yeah.
$6
Well,
for
that's
6
why they're
bullets.
back
Not a
in
big deal.
Florida. They're facing these charges,
Yeah,
and you know what?
I forget where they were arrested at.
They said the brothers who have a dual American and British citizenship. There you go.
Okay, I
left
couldn't
Romania
remember.
on a private jet at the end of February after Romanian authorities lifted travel restrictions on them, and of course they're denying our wrongdoing.
I know the U.S.
Try
has been trying
them,
to
send
arrest.
them, and kill them.
Right.
They're
know,
they're
it's as simple
wealthy
as that.
and they're just they cater. It's just they're this gross.
Oh, Tate, a vocal supporter of Trump, often evokes the president's name in his online rants. The Tates will be freed. Trump is the president. The good old days are back, and they will be better than ever. Hold on. Well, I don't think he needs to hold on for a long time because I don't think Trump's going to have anything to do with
No,
it.
he's not
What-
having anything to
he's
do
got
with
nothing to do with
And I
that.
can't remember
No
in
president
Florida
would.
where they
Just
where they live.
let Florida take care of the business.
I didn't know until somebody asked Congressman last night about the Tate brothers. He
Oh
goes,
no, they've been. in
he
the
said,
news a lot.
honestly, I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, I
and
know
I
who-
meant
exactly
to look
who
it
they
up.
are,
so-
yeah.
Is this still our caller?
Yeah.
No, it's Robin.
Oh, it's Robin.
Here's what they look like.
Okay, it's Robin this time. If it's not Robin, I'm gonna hang up on you. Hey, Robin.
Hey, it's Robin. It's Robin Yamamoto. So
Robin Yamamoto. Yeah, I remember him.
Hey, first of all, I wasn't going to call in. I was just kind of enjoying the show, and I was just listening to Larry, Charlie, Dork, whatever his name is.
Dork is good.
And I appreciate the comments, Rayford. I appreciate you standing up, and I really do. I appreciate Joy calling in, and I just wanted to put my 2 cents in as her husband, who's been with her, has watched her go through school. She takes work home. In fact, she took work home last night, and she can never discuss it with me because of HIPAA laws, and I understand that. But I could tell by her expression she's had a bad day or whatever. But to sit there and arbitrarily make a decision like Charlie did, or whatever his pseudo name is, or whatever his CIA front name is, I don't know.
He's not CIA.
Yeah, well, no, because he's well, I'm not even going to say it on the radio. But anyway,
Because he's got a mouth.
I've watched this woman go through school, put herself through school to get her BS degree, 2 masters, and her licensure, take a massive test several times, just to be in the place that she's in, and I know her personality. And I'll tell you, so she's a straight shooter. She's going to tell you, she's not going to sugarcoat anything. But deep down inside of her, she is in this profession because she cares, and she cares tremendously about people to the point where she puts their concerns over hers. She literally does that. I've witnessed it for the last 17 to 18 years of her doing this. And, it's like, so, I decided based on what Charlie said, I think we should just give every wiggy and weenie out there, just, let them graduate from high school and don't send them to any type of training or anything like that. Let's just put them out on the street to carry a gun. And let's let them be a cop and do their job. And, if you pass basic biology and biochemistry, well, you should be certified as a doctor with no internship. No problem. Let's just put them out there and let them do what they got to do, because obviously to Charlie's schooling or training and life experiences, let me say that, life experiences don't count for anything. So let's just throw them out there and pray for the best, and let's see what happens. In fact, when I take my plane flight to Nashville or whatever it was, I hope we get a first-time pilot that just got his license, and this is his first major flight so that he can get us safely to Nashville.
He's got his learning permit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And but I appreciate the comments from you, Rayford and Joy, because there's one thing you're not going to do. Kelly's a tough person. She can take criticism, but you got another person on the other side of her. It's me. And then when you start to get personal and stuff like that, I take offense to it.
Well,
you really don't want to. Charlie really does not want to meet me personally.
I love it when Charlie keeps calling. So how do you know it's me? And I keep thinking to him, you really don't know who you're talking to, do you?
Well, I've been a cop for almost 29 years, okay? Uh-huh. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a licensed therapist like Kelly is, or a licensed counselor like Kelly is. So based on my experience in dealing with people every single day of my life.
1073.
Absolutely. You said it best.
It's not a doubt in my mind. That's the way I would have to treat him if I had to encounter him. And he came up with that same kind of stuff. Same kind of stuff I see is when I watch the Sovereign Citizen Idiots on TV, on the YouTube channels. I'd look at that for training purposes. That is fun.
Well, it's the whole world. And, it brings me to another real quick point. It's the whole world, the concept of this and that, and how ridiculous this world has turned. You've got the police officer up in Connecticut that tased the guy that just ran into him and ran from him, etc. Violent criminal, convicted violent criminal. And now they're charging the police officer who tased the guy. And they're charging him criminally. And that just goes to show what kind of world we currently live in. And, anybody that wants to go into law enforcement or go into counseling, God help you, because it's not the same world as it was 30 years ago. And you got a bunch of liberals running this country. You got a bunch of liberal thinking people that are ungodly, in my opinion. And I'll say it right there. I'll say it and I'll defend it. That's my opinion. That are running this country. They are causing all these problems.
Yep.
How do you charge a police officer who could have used deadly force, but used a taser to subdue a subject and put him in a car, and then yet he gets charged by the ADA?
All I can look at, Robin, is you and I probably would be sharing a cell together today if we were working.
Listen, Rayford, when you and I were coming up, things that we did, during
statute of limitations.
We did it legally. We never crossed the line. The things that we did right now, you and I would be in a cell for 50 years someplace just looking at each other.
Oh, yeah. And that would be an awful sight for me. I'm not unsure for you too.
And just one last thing. So, Charlie, if you're going to go after my wife,
come on, bring it on.
Just remember, you got a hot-headed Asian American that's right behind her, and I'm not going to tolerate your bull crap.
Right.
That's all I got to say.
Cajun agent, here we come.
Well, I do know Charlie sent a message, and he said he'd like to call in and make amends, but I just told him not today.
Nope.
Let's just let everything rest.
I want to give a little bit of information on the Tate brothers for those that don't know.
Please do.
Okay. So it's Andrew and Tristan Tate. Now, they are U.S. citizens, and they also have some kind of dual citizenship with the U.K. I'm not sure what that's about.
Used to be withdrawn.
Andrew's 38 and Tristan's 36. Andrew was a professional kickboxer, and he is a misogynist. And I don't know if I've seen his videos. I had a client was heavily into this, and I had to watch this guy. This guy is a dirt bag. And he called himself the king of toxic masculinity. He's got a lot of videos on YouTube. And if you really want to get irritated, you need to watch them sometimes. But anyway, so they went to Romania. I don't know why. And they were arrested in Romania in December 22. And the younger one, the older one was charged with rape there. But they were also charged with human trafficking and
why weren't they convicted?
Forming a criminal group. Romania has not even, they've arrested them and kept them on some kind of weird like house arrest there. And I think it was a battle because they were not Romanian citizens, and I don't
They're
know.
British citizens
Well, they're U.S. citizens
and
too.
U.S. citizens.
Yeah, I think they were born here.
Well, let me, as a U.S. citizen, Romania, I give you permission to arrest them, try them, and sentence them.
Well, now they're back because
back here though.
Yes,
chickens,
and they are
chicken liver.
Their videos are I don't understand the whole. They're in Fort Lauderdale. They got here last week. Yeah,
I never heard of them till yesterday.
I didn't pay
I've
attention
heard a
to
lot of, and like I said, the reason I knew who they were is I had a client, a male client, a military client that was heavily into this Andrew Tate guy, and he said, "You got to watch these videos." I started watching them. I was horrified. This guy is a dirt bag. His stuff will make you so mad, and I'm not, I'm as a free thinker as anybody. And there's a lot I can talk, but this guy, and he earned a really big following with the male, like kickboxing group and stuff because he's so misogynist.
Well, you talk about dirtbag brothers. You and I were both looking at this morning, but the LA County District Attorney announced Monday that he does not support resentencing the Menendez brothers.
He's running for re-election, right?
This is a new one just came in. He says because they have not fully accepted responsibility for killing their parents.
They accept it until they die.
3 decades ago. And what he's done, this is a complete reversal.
Yeah, good.
From
Gascon.
From Gascon, who told the court last year he supported resentencing the brothers.
Well,
Gascon wanted to let him free. He was trying to let him out.
Now, if you want to resentence them, I will be 100% in favor of it, but let me do the resentencing and I will carry out the sentence.
Was going to
both of those
support
clowns.
Supreme Court hearing.
So this guy, the new LADA is like, no, we just,
Good. Maybe LA will get some justice. No, this guy's going to get killed. Put it down. This DA better get some security.
Oh, Gascon?
No.
Oh.
This new DA.
I'm sure.
If they get a new DA, he better get some security.
They've got a new DA. He was voted in, and he's trying to make some changes.
Yeah,
but
well.
I mean, I know. I think I hope he's got security. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I wouldn't put
he's going to be needing some security.
He's going to need something.
I'm going to leave y'all with something here.
Oh, Lord.
Here we go again.
I'll play that song. I know.
Oh, Miss Effie was her name. Through the West she won her fame, being handy with the gun. But she drove the men insane, 'cause she'd whip out her pistol and shoot most any guy, then sing out this alibi. I didn't know the gun was loaded, and I'm so sorry, my friend. I didn't know the gun was loaded, and I'll never do it again.
I won't make that promise.
The sound effect is what makes that song even more like.
1949, that's been 75 years ago, 76 years ago. That is precious.
Good old
Sound effects.
Precious.
That was a good old times. Yeah. Well,
It sounds like a cap gun.
It was a cap gun. I'm sure it was. That was a cap gun. They had all sorts of sound
it's
effects.
time to leave for the day.
We do appreciate y'all, and thank you, and thanks for the listeners and the calls and the comments. And we will be back tomorrow in spite of what some people think. And we're going to be busy. We got Dr. Rosemary Stein, and we got Peter Wright in here. Boy,
What
we
time
got
does
a
the
question for
Alphabet
Peter.
store open?
09. Some of them, maybe.
Lord.
You going to the ABC pharmacy?
The Alphabet store.
That's what I said, the ABC pharmacy. You're live and local, real talk. We are always awake, never woke, and we are stubborn as anything you have ever seen. Have a great rest of your day.